So the EA briefing kicked off this year's E3 announcements and did it with a bang, and one of the biggest titles has got to be Battlefield 5.
That's right, we're going to get a chance to talk to some of the minds behind it, but first, one more time, let's take a look at this beautiful game and roll that trailer.
Ikke en dråpe. Jeg elsker deg.
Sus! Games play best on Xbox One.
Have it, and here to tell us about the latest installment in the hit Battlefield franchise is none other than the game's senior producer, Andreas Morel, and lead world designer, Daniel Berlin. Guys, thanks for joining us here, and let's talk Battlefield 5.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I've got to kick it off because in the announcement, the thing that everyone went like, oh my god, it's in the game, right? Battle Royale, right? How excited are you to be having that to come to Battlefield 5?
I think we're all huge fans of it. You know, it's like we've seen how the genre really exploded, and when we've been following it back home, we're like, it really fits with the Battlefield core pillars: the destruction, epic scale. It's a perfect match.
No, I was saying this because when I was playing on the at EA Play, I was like doing the attack segment of the airborne game mode. And like jumping out of the plane, I was like, this is perfect for that mode. I was like, this is just going to fit so nicely. Are you excited how those mechanics are going to be played out in Battle Royale from the Ground Operations mode?
So what we're looking at from the ground operations is that's the new airborne mode that we're introducing, and that's the whole new take on ground operation in terms of like we're going from day to day. But we're actually not going to go too deep into details into the Battle Royale right now, because we have to leave some stuff.
This is what you did to me at the review. Like, we're going to have to leave some stuff for E3, and now it's happening to me again.
They got to save some. They got to save some.
It's true. It's true.
But we really, again, it's like going back to World War II. We say we want to do it like no one's ever done it before. We want to show you a completely different side, and that also goes for Battle Royale, you know. It's like we'll do a Battlefield take on it, and we can't wait to share more news on that later on.
Now we understand, of course, Battle Royale, very excited, but Battlefield games, amazing stories, and again, Battlefield 5 looks to have one of the most exciting stories yet that you guys are going to bring to the table here. Now, on telling those stories, especially in World War II, I'm kind of curious here, kind of what can we expect from some stories we haven't really heard before? I know you can't spoil the campaign, but
it's just like we've just started off with a too difficult question.
So tell us the end of the game.
No, but I mean, I think when we made Battlefield 1, we really found our format for how we want to depict single player and pretty war stories, because Battlefield is a game where we want you to go to different locations, and with this format that lets us do that, to focus on untold stories in different parts of the war, So it's very important for us that we carried this format with us into Battlefield 5. So what we're showing here at E3 and EA Play this year is the Nordlys story, which is Norwegian for Northern Lights.
Yep.
Which is basically focused around a young resistance fighter in the German-occupied parts of Norway, and her survival, fight to survival, and her fight to help her family survive, basically. So it's a personal story, right?
And I think it's like when we kind of start looking into this as well, you start discovering all these untold stories that are so exciting, and we really want to get that across to our players. And the more we kind of learned and kind of digged into it and looked into kind of past Omaha Beach and the known ones, you really get a sense for this is really the greatest drama in human history. There's so many human emotional stories that are there to be told, and I think that's what we set out to do with War Stories. And Nordlys being the first one we talk about is literally just the tip on an iceberg.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome for players to experience those stories, but something that also players are going to love, okay, and it got a huge reception in the conference, was that there is no season pass in Battlefield 5. What can players expect from those updates in the future?
Well, no premium pass means we'll keep the community together. That's it's better for everyone.
Yeah, like that. I think that's the thing as well. It's just like that thing when new maps come out and all that. It's like everyone's going to be able to get on their day one with the premium pass.
Yeah, but I mean, we're building this game to be a team play centric game. We're building this game to be a game we want to play with the squad. So we don't ever want to be in a situation where you're playing together with your friends and then you're supposed to, okay, now it's going to be playing this particular content, and someone says, oh, I can't join because I don't have that.
Yeah. I think it's important. That way make sure all of your squad can come with you, all of your teammates can join you, versus saying, oh, sorry, hold on, I got to get the battle pass. Oh, okay, hold on.
Exactly. But that's
nice
a whole
seamless experience that doesn't pull you out.
Yeah, but that's the whole introduction with the new Tides of War. We're going to give players a way for them to go together with their squad on a journey through the Second World War. And as we introduce new theaters of war, and as you build your own company with new weapons and vehicles and all these things, you can do that together, and no one will be left behind, basically. Everyone can join the Tides of War.
I love that, and you guys will progress together. And on progression, I'm always curious here, with Battlefield 5, what kind of progression system can we look forward to? Any can we peel back any layers on that?
So we're introducing something that we call the company, which is really your selection of soldiers. And it doesn't really matter if you play the War Stories or Combined Arms or multiplayer, you will always progress throughout. We just want you to enjoy the game and play it, and I think it's a great addition to it. So not only do you progress them, you choose really how they look and how you want them to play. So you can customize them based on your play style, but also based on pure vanity. Like, do you want to go down and have your soldiers look more like the historical soldiers, or do you want to express your way in different ways? So it's totally up to you, and Battlefield is truly a true sandbox in that sense now.
Yeah, no, I'm quite excited. I enjoyed when we went through the trailer, seeing all the little details that people had chosen to add to their soldier, and you're just going to get around going like, all right, I like this combination. This is going to be my assault setup. This is going to be my medic setup.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. It's something that I'm really looking forward to, is to kind of like people. How their company and how their soldiers and vehicles and weapon, how that looks at the launch.
Yeah.
And as they go through the Tides of War and we take them to all these new theaters, they will participate in new ground operations, and they will earn specific unlocks and all these things, and new vanity, and just seeing how they're basically going to be changing as they go through the Tides of War.
They'll be progressing with that story and with those unlocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So we have a question about co-op. So co-op. Combined Arms gives new players a less intensive way to introduce the game, correct?
Yep.
Kind of like a nice, easy entry level.
Absolutely. It kind of sits in between War Stories and the multiplayer chaos, and it's a perfect place to kind of jump in with some friends, maybe friends that are seasoned veterans, get the hang of some of the kind of more advanced techniques that you might need to use in the battlefield, or just to kind of relax and enjoy co-op, because co-op is just a great way of hanging out with your mates.
I think it's all that experience that you want to have with your friends when you hop on. You know, if you don't feel like having that grand operations experience, which from what I played at EA Play, is so fast-paced, so intense, action-packed. Like tanks are rolling through buildings, you got planes swooping on like above you, and you've got that initial stage at the start. Talking a little bit about ground operations and airborne, is you have at the start of the game, it's a brand new game mode to the Battlefield franchise.
Yep.
Can you actually tell us a little bit how that mode thinks? We're seeing some gameplay on it right now.
Yeah, so this is a completely new format for ground operations where we're actually introducing the concept of in-game days. So what that means is that one thing to make clear from the get-go is that it's not calendar days.
Yeah.
So a day is a representative of approximately 15 to 20 minutes. But as you play ground operations, you will go from day 1, day 2, day 3, and if day 3 ends in a stalemate, you will go to day 4.
Oh.
I know.
This is where I'm excited, because I've heard a little bit about this up from the reveal, and it sounds like it is going to be intense.
I mean, what we want to depict on the last day, this is something that doesn't occur every time you play. It's maybe one every third of Grand Operation this occurs. And what we really want to have is the feeling of like that you've been fighting for 4 days, and there hasn't been, a victor in the battle, and you're out of ammunition, you're out of material, you're out of soldiers. So we will pit both teams against each other in a sudden death style type of team deathmatch where you only get one single spawn, and you're basically going to be giving your primary weapon with maybe half a mag in it, and that's it. And then you have to fight it out until there's only one man left standing.
So this is actually saying, so talking about you only have one squad, can you still do squad revives?
Yes. So the importance of sticking with your squad is even more important in this mode. Just by the aspect of the low amount of ammunition as well.
Yeah.
Because if someone in your squad spawns in a support, they can drop down ammo to you, and then you can all run up there and grab that. But yes, if you get shot down, you go to the man down state. Your buddies can bring you back. But if you bleed out, then you're gone, and then you outed operation completely.
Yeah. That's just going to be a sad moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel some emotions probably might come on from that. Now, I know there's a lot of new players who are coming into Battlefield here, and I'm always curious from the developers themselves, what's the best advice you could probably give a player who's just getting ready to, they saw this trailer, they're jazzed, they're excited, they're sold, they're pumped. What's kind of that first level advice you'd give them as they jump into this?
I would say go and play Battlefield 1. It shares a lot of the kind of the core classes, just to get a feel from it. We got a huge amount of great community contributors. They're putting up videos, kind of breaking down what Battlefield 5 is. And as soon as the closed alpha and open beta starts rolling out,
then you get a little bit more of a taste of it. I love that, because Battlefield 1 does a great job of setting that theater of war, I would almost call it, where you feel that, horseback riding over, there's a tank over here, mortar shells are coming over your head, and you're just like, you're just screaming as you're running in with a bayonet. It looks like a lot of the same, that feeling, that emotion is almost going to come out in that.
Absolutely, and I think, again, it's like, play the objective, stay close to your squads, and work together. That's the best way of learning it, really.
Play the objectives. Your squad mates will appreciate it.
Oh, they will definitely appreciate it. But I think one thing we're doing really great in Battlefield 5 is that we actually let the game kind of guide you.
Yeah.
So this time around, if you just let the game kind of take you by the hand and lead you, we will make sure that you will be with your squad. You will play with your squad. You will spawn with your squad. So it's easier in that sense.
Well, it's also those new gameplay mechanics that you've implemented into Battlefield 5, like the squad revive, which is really important. What other aspects are players going to be able to take advantage of with working with their squads?
I think one of the major aspects we have right now is, of course, the battle revive, like you mentioned, but also when you're down, when you're in the man down state, you actually have an ability to look around 360 degrees. So we're no longer forcing you to just look at the guy who killed you. Now you can actually go back to your person, and you can look around 360 degrees and see, like, hey, do I have any squad mate close by? Or, hey, do I have a medic close by that can actually revive me? And if you do, you can call out to that player, and he or she will get a notification and saying, like, oh, I have a man down over here, I should go over there and help. So that's one part of it. But also, the way we're setting up the fortification system, the new and huge new dynamic layer we're adding to the multiplayer sandbox, and we're looking at the fortification system from kind of like from the perspective of a squad. So a squad will be able to move into a capture point, and basically a full squad can completely build up that capture point and turtle that capture point and make it theirs.
See, I'm really excited about fortifications just because it's going to completely change the game and how people approach situations. Because normally, in Battlefield in the past, if an area had been destroyed and just thing, you just avoided it because there was no benefit.
You just go around.
Yeah, you'd just be like, okay, there's no point set up there. We're just going to be sat in the open. But fortifications is going to change how players.
Absolutely, and I think we saw some really cool gameplay moments at EA Play when we had our fans come and play the game, and it's like with the changes we've done to really kind of encourage squad play, stick together, play together. You could hear people start talking over the stations. It's like, hey mate, I'm starting to build fortifications. Just get here and bipod here. I'm going to help you. I'm going to support you like that. And it's brilliant stuff.
I was just there stacking sandbags while like, everyone was rushing over this hill. Like I just put the sandbags up, like everyone else is just running over, and like how you have as well with the support class, you're able to have a few extra benefits for fortifications.
Absolutely. So everyone can build fortifications now. Pretty much like everyone could put on a gas mask in BF1. Now everyone can build fortifications, but the support class can actually build them a bit faster, but also build stationary weapons. So essentially, super fortify everything. So everything is kind of going towards team play and squad play and helping out because, again, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that you're just giving everyone, the players, the tools to be able to work together in more of a better and more cohesive way. Spotting system. Now, I know that recently had been brought up. Like, kind of the decision about it. You guys recently made an alter and a change to that.
Yeah, we've been looking at the game in general, and we said like, hey, we want this game to be a game where you don't necessarily just shoot at icons. We want this to be a game where the world is the physical representation of how you actually read your environments. In previous games, you would have been able to basically, as you pressed over a hill, you can just hammer a spot, and you saw these icons popping up, and that's what you use to track enemies. This time around, we want you to actually come to that exact same hill, and as you pressed over it, maybe you should actually take a slight pause, maybe crouch down, and then scan the actual environment, because you won't be able to just automatically spot everyone like that. Now, we're adding a new system, which is more in line of a communicative tool between players. So if you do see someone in the real world, like you do spot movement in the window over there, you can then look at that window and click, and if there's a sniper there, it's going to be a little marker that pops up to say like, hey, sniper over here. And that's then going to be called out to your squad. But if that sniper then, ducks away and runs away, the tracker is not going to continue to track that player. It's going to sit there. So the communication is more rather like, hey, there was a sniper over there 5 seconds ago. I don't know where he is anymore, but you won't be able to use the spotting system to track enemies anymore.
You just deleted my entire strategy. I just used to run around
start from ground zero.
Yeah, I ran around just spamming right bumper alongside everyone else, going like, okay, there might be someone over there.
But what we're actually doing is that, so what this does is that it allows the recon class to kind of come more and be more valuable to the squad, because the recon class still has the binoculars.
Yeah.
And those are the tools that can still utilize the old spotting system. So by doing this, just like Assault had a very, very distinct and clear role, kills vehicles. The medic, obviously healing, reviving, support, suppressing, handing out ammunition. The recon was like, long range shots, but everyone else could also do the exact type of spotting capabilities. But by removing that, we really give the recon a clear role within the squad, and that's what it's all about, the dependency between the different roles in the squad and playing together in that squad.
And also, it's an active choice of doing it. As in, I'm taking up the binoculars and I'm going to spot for my team rather than to sit there and press Q or the bumper.
But you'll still get your assist points for like marking the enemy. Because you want to be contributing to those big squad reinforcements that you saw at the end of that trailer, which I didn't realise were at EA Play.
It was.
I didn't find any of them. I was so gutted.
Oh yeah, there.
Because I really want to call in one of those V1 rockets.
Oh, you were trying to pull that off?
No, because you get it and the sound comes in. So I think we were talking about this yesterday, how they got the sound of the V1 rocket, because it's a very distinct sound. You got like something with snowmobiles.
It's like the V1 rocket engine was something that hasn't really been around since World War II.
Yeah.
So when the audio guys started to kind of like, how are we gonna capture this sound and make it believable? They found the snowmobile up in north of Sweden that actually was running on a V1 engine. So they just went up there, drove hours and hours up in the snow in the wilderness, and then they got to this massive speed event where they literally had the V1 rocket engine, a pulse engine running. So they strapped a lot of microphones on it, and that's what we're hearing in the game.
I think it's a really exciting thing with Battlefield 5 though, is you've gone to the extent to capture that sound for the authenticity of the V1 rocket, and that's gone into every aspect of the game.
Absolutely. We really want it to be believable. We want to again deliver the most immersive Battlefield game to date, and this is what we have to do that, because we want our players to see and experience World War II like they never have been done before.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, and I love just the attention to detail there with getting just the sound right, or the spotting, being able to actually feel like I am a recon class, and it's not just playing the Benny style.
No.
Don't hate the style. It worked.
It may have worked, but now you can be like, okay, now I am recon. Now I have my binoculars.
Does anyone want to be recon for me? Like, please, just mark everyone.
In other news, Benny needs a new recon player for his team. Shifting gears a bit about Tides of War. I know a lot of people have been out there chatting about this online. What can players expect to get out of Tides of War?
So Tides of War is really where everything starts. We launched the game in October. That's the beginning of the journey, and part of that is Tides of War. That's where you kind of like get to experience a narrative within the multiplayer world, where we tell the stories, these untold stories, unknown battlegrounds, starting with the fall of Europe. We kind of want to start from the first chapter here, because we want to take you to Norway as part of the invasion of Narvik. So Germany occupied Norway in 1940. The Brits launched a counterattack to retake the port. It was an ice-free port. It was quite significant strategic objective. So as part of that journey, we allow our players to relive those moments of heroism and bravery.
Yeah, because that's the map that we played at EA Play, was Narvik actually, which looked absolutely stunning. And you'll have been seeing the gameplay as well during the stream. But the guns are incredible, and there's been a lot of changes to the weaponry in Battlefield 5.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
No, we've been doing extensive work, and I'd say together with our community on this one. We've been really listening and put our ears to the ground here to see what are the type of problems that the community sees with the weapons, and what would they like to see in future installments. And a lot of work has gone into this. We kind of want to create weapons that are, in a sense, more predictable. We want to remove the randomness of weapon, and we want to increase the tactical depth of weapon. We want you to be able to pick up a weapon and then play with it, and then by actually looking at the weapon model when you're aiming down the sight, you will be able to tell how this weapon functions. Is it a tap fire weapon? Is it a full automatic weapon? Is it a burst fire weapon? And as you play with the weapon, and when you shoot with it, you'll see when you have predictable recoil patterns, then you're within that spot how the weapon should be utilized. But as soon as you move it outside of that space, you'll see the weapon start to act more drastically. But since we're also using the actual weapon model as the feedback source, rather, players can actually mitigate through skill how the weapon actually works, instead of relying on, in general, just spread, which is more randomness that you can't actually mitigate through skill. So weapons that have predictable recoil patterns, weapons that you can pick up, you can learn, and you can master over time. That's a clear goal for us.
And I think that is also something that really adds to the accessibility of the game. As in, no longer can you, I don't understand why bullets are going all over the place, but now it's predictable. I can learn it, I can master it, and it really helps making Battlefield more accessible.
It basically, it's the same thing there. It's grounded in that sense of believability. I understand why the weapon acts like this, because this is how I would expect the weapon to work in real life.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing that I found when I was using the STG during my playtime,
Yes.
is that when I first started using it, my shots were a bit like not consistently. I was missing my targets. I wasn't picking up kills as easily. And as I started to learn and feel the weapon, and I'm sure everyone watching at home when they pick up Battlefield 5 for the first time is going to have the same experience. They're going to suddenly find them very quickly, picking up and learning a weapon and being a lot better with it, which is going to help them pick kills up more consistently. It's going to help them perform better. But what's also exciting is going to allow for that level of mastery in Battlefield 5 where you can learn all the weapons, you know exactly where your barrel is pointing, is where the bullet is going to go, which is why snipers as well are going to be incredible. You can't spot them in the distance anymore.
But it's also with the snipers and with the scopes, you now have a physical representation of how accurate you are. Because if you aim down the sight with a scope and you're tracking that enemy over there and you start to move, you'll see the actual scope will start to blur. That is a direct feedback to you as a player. It's just like, I'm doing something wrong with this weapon. This is not a weapon I should fire on the move. I need to be stationary, preferably crouch, maybe even front.
I love the educational aspect of that, of being able to teach the player, this is how you, little cues like that, this is how you can get better at that. This is how you can land those shots. Because obviously nothing's more frustrating, like, I can't hit any of these shots. I'm just missing all over the place. But if you're given those cues, you're educating the player there of like how you can nail those shots. And then like you said, like, oh, heaven forbid, you know, a couple weeks, couple months in, as they start getting really good, and they're just like practically blind, just looking away and just nailing those shots.
Just every bullet landing right in the middle of the target. Like, what's that fighter called? The Karate Kid. Just suddenly just starts to be like eyes closed.
Just blindfolded. Now, briefly, you touched on sandbags. I want to build on that and talk about building materials a little bit, and kind of like that building aspect of the game, and kind of dive into that.
So I think this is something we're really excited about, the fortification system, being able to counter destruction for the first time. As in, we saw in Battlefield 1 that it doesn't take a long time before everything is flattened and snipers like you are dominating the map because there's no cover. Now you can counter it. As in, support players can build fortifications faster than normal people, but anyone can build it. So you see tanks going through the buildings, just fix the wall with sandbags and kind of lock down a position. I think when we first play tested it back at DICE, we really felt like this is adding a completely new level of strategy and tactics on top of this, and we can't wait to get all our fans to kind of try it out for themselves.
I can't wait to see just how much it alters kind of like gameplay and where people learn where to go in certain points in time.
But I mean, that's the thing too. This is also something that comes through mastery through the level design, because you learn where the different fortifications are placed. And I mean, we have placed there's such a large extent of fortification placed here. So, and the really cool thing is that they're actually contextual in that sense as well. So if you're, for example, you're inside a house, and this house is inside a capture point, and your squad says like you know, let's board up this house. You move up to the windows, and as you apply boarding up the windows, you're going to have a hammer. But if you run outside and you're going to build a sandbag, your character's going to actually have a sandbag and it's going to build that. So it's contextual to the actual action that you're doing. So if you're building, for example, if you notice like, oh yeah, they got a tank, and it often comes out this main route, you run outside and build tank blockers, and then you have an actual wrench to build a tank blocker. So it becomes very dynamic in that sense as well.
That's great. I love the chess game, back and forth.
I am very excited, but now it is time for trivia, which means it's time to get those controllers and warm up that keyboard or touchscreen, because it's time to see. It's up to our trivia challenge.
That's right. We are playing for Battlefield 1 codes right now, so you want to make sure you're ready. So get ready, controllers ready, because trivia begins now. So we're going to be rolling this here. The first question is going to be kicking off. Very hot. So I'm going to give you the question here. What is the name of the next level of Battlefield multiplayer revealed for Battlefield 5? Is it Grand Classes, Grand Operations, Grand Destruction, or Grand Fortification? You've got a couple more seconds left to answer there.
Fortification. Grand Destruction. I don't know. We might have been talking about it.
It's grand something.
It might be. And
there we go. That's going to tally up the votes. It's going to see what everybody voted for. Give us a little bit of a percentage here, right here. Again, we're seeing that live and interactive there. And there we go.
There we go. It is 61% Grand Operations.
Nice.
I think I might have trolled a few people by saying the wrong answers. I'm so sorry. But Grand Operations is correct. Right, next up, where is the Battlefield 5 War Story Nordlies that was shown for the very first time in the Xbox E3 briefing set? Denmark, Sweden, Iceland, or Norway? And Andre, you said the correct answer as well.
I did.
I think we've mentioned it, yeah, live up on the stage. If they're paying attention at home, you're going to see what this is, and you're going to get all the answers. You just got to listen here up.
This is stressing me out. Like, I am terrible at these sort of questions and like trivia.
Yep.
You know, like Trivia Pursuit when you play at home. I was terrible.
Well, the correct answer is Norway. A lot of people got that right. Looks like 64%. Good news is you don't have to play up here. You just have to read the questions off.
God.
And the thousands at home have a chance to play and win Battlefield.
That is very true. But which era is Battlefield 5 set in? World War I, World War II, the Gulf War, or the Cold War? This is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but the questions are like the first £100.
It's a slightly easy.
I am expecting you guys to get this. Come on.
Yeah, this should be an easy one. You should be able to grab on this one if you were listening to the show. Time is up.
Time is up.
We're going to tally up those answers and see who is correct.
It's really it's like quite fun as well, like to see them come up and boom.
There we go.
78%
78% of people were paying attention.
All right, next up.
All right, last question here. I think we may have one more, but what is the name of the co-op experience returning with Battlefield 5? Is it combined legs, combined elbows, combined arms, or combined fingers?
I love that.
And we do have one more, so you guys have a
Combined
chance.
fingers. It's gotta be combined fingers.
Combined beard.
Combined beard. Yeah, it's one growing it. You know, it's the
Well,
group.
time is up. The correct answer was actually combined arms.
All right,
That's right.
and yes, and not most like 86. Is that 85%?
85%.
But last question: what is the name of the post-launch journey all Battlefield 5 players will get to experience, starting with the fall of Europe in November? Tides of War, Turning the Tide of Battle, or Tidal Waves?
There we go. Final question in there.
I hope it's Tidal Waves.
Time is up. We're going to be tallying those answers right here, live right now, to be able to find our winner. The answer for that question, though, 60% was Tides of War. If you heard that question, shoot out to you guys.
I'm very happy with everyone, though. The large percentage was...
And 94% accuracy, Bob's homie won.
Oh, Bob's homie. So you've got a
Total points. That's his total accumulated points he got for answering all those questions, which means he's the winner for a code for Battlefield 1. Nice. Congratulations. Great. We have trivia, again, for every segment here, almost. You just stay tuned. Again, keep those controllers and those keyboards ready.
Yeah, no, but a big thank you to Daniel and Andreas as well. But now, let's see what fun players are having in our Realm Royale hype zone.